Plato says, "Pleasure is the greatest incentive to evil." According to Plato, our soul isn't disciplined when we put the appetite part of the soul in charge instead of reason, and we end up making bad choices. Imagine a situation where you have to decide whether to have another drink or not. If you let your appetite take control, in this case your strong desire for the immediate pleasure of consuming alcohol, instead of reason, like considering how you'll feel in the morning, you might end up making a bad choice. According to Plato, this happens when our soul isn't disciplined and we prioritize short-term pleasure over making sensible decisions for our well-being. But here's the important part. Each part of our soul is real and important. While it's true that wanting immediate pleasures can be harmful, we can't just ignore those feelings either. One of the main definitions that Plato gives to these mere pleasures are deceivers, because they make us see things not as they really are, but in a way that may not be good for us. Think about when you see something flashy or attractive, like a colourful book cover or eye-catching YouTube ad. Sometimes, just because it looks nice, you might suddenly want it without really thinking. Plato said these desires are like optical illusions, things that look good, but don't really mean anything. Our life is filled with such illusions or trickery, like wanting tasty food, drinks, or wanting to be powerful or famous. These desires never seem to be satisfied. Living a life only focused on immediate pleasures may feel good for a short time, but it can't bring lasting happiness. Plato suggests a way to deal with the trickiness of quick pleasures, which he calls the art of measurement. This philosophical approach encourages us to think carefully about what we really want. Instead of quickly going after things that make us happy for a little while, Plato says we should measure our goals against what will make us happy in the long run. To do this, we need to think about what we want and pick actions that will bring us lasting happiness. As an example that will resonate with many of us just after the holiday season, there's a good chance that, if you're anything like me, you've been rather overindulging on the snacks and junk food, which is fun for a short time, but we know it's bad for our health in the long term. However, denying momentary pleasure for the greater good of our overall health can be pretty hard to achieve despite our best intentions. Plato's art of measurement would tell us that in order to break the cycle, we need to force ourselves to pause for a moment between desiring something and acting on that desire. And in that pause, we should consider our long-term goals, such as wanting to be healthy and happy, and whether the action of eating that junk food will impact that. The truth is, if in that moment of consideration you realize that that momentary pleasure will not only negatively impact your physical health, but also result in a potentially longer period of guilt as well, then it doesn't align with your larger goals and probably isn't worth doing in the first place. But Plato's art of measurement isn't just for deciding what to eat, it can help make many parts of your life better. For example, when you feel really strong emotions, instead of reacting right away, you can take a moment to think about how your reaction might affect your relationships and how you feel overall. This is using the art of measurement for your emotional responses. But it's not just about negativity and restriction. When you spend time with your family, you can use this idea to think about how to make that time more special. Instead of just doing things without really thinking, you can measure if the time you spend with your family is making your relationship stronger. The more you practice the art of measurement, the better you become at making thoughtful and wise decisions in various aspects of life.